Good evening and welcome to regular council meeting of Monday, October 25th. Call the meeting to order. Item 1.1, conflict of interest declaration for pecuniary or non-pecuniary interests. Seeing none, I'll move for acceptance of the agenda before you. Item 2.1. Is there any additions to the agenda? Yes, CAO Hastings.
Thank you, Mayor Van Ryan. 4.1, Councillor Chapman's AUMA Long Service Award.
Thank you.
Which will be presented at the upcoming AUMA conference in November.
Okay. Any other additions to the agenda? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda as amended? Councillor Saylor, any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Item 3.1, the regular council meeting minutes from October 12th. It was part of your agenda package. Any questions on the minutes? Councillor Chapman?
Thank you. I'll move for adoption of those minutes.
Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Item 4.0, business arising from the minutes. Agenda item 4.1, AUMA Long Service Award for Councillor Chapman. Kaylin Hastings is going to present.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillor Chapman, as council is aware, is the recipient of the 20-year Long Service Award from AUMA. So first of all, congratulations to Councillor Chapman for that milestone in service. Given that Councillor Chapman will be at AUMA to accept that award at the same time that Mayor Van Ryan and myself will be there on official town business, one of the questions that is put before council is whether the town should cover the costs of the conference and the accommodations for Councillor Chapman, given that he will likely be attending a lot of the same meetings that Mayor Van Ryan and myself will be attending, given that he's already there. Last, at the organizational meeting, earlier today, the resolution by council was to send Mayor Van Ryan and myself as the only two representatives from the town of Coaldale. Would council give consideration to covering the cost for that conference for Councillor Chapman, given that he will be going there to receive the award and attending to town business at the same time?
Thank you. Any discussion? Councillor Pickering?
Yeah, Mayor Van Ryan. I would, if I would have known that Bill was receiving that award, I would have probably motioned then for him to go and his expenses be covered.
Yes, and unfortunately that was missed when we discussed it earlier.
Okay.
Okay, Councillor Beekman?
Thank you, Mayor Van Ryan. I would be in favor of that as well, as it's quite an award, and I think it looks good on the town of Coaldale and whatnot. And I feel the town can do that for Councillor Chapman.
Okay, you want to make that into a motion?
Yes. I'll make the motion to that the town of Coaldale cover the travel expense and cost to send Councillor Chapman to the AUMA.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Moving on to new business, item 8.1, Town of Coaldale Signing Authority. Kyle?
Okay, hello and good evening to Mayor and Council. For those who I have not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Kyle Beauchamp. I am the CFO and Deputy CAO for the Town of Coaldale. Some light administrative work here tonight. Subsequent to the municipal election, we're looking for an update to the authorized signing authority for the Town of Coaldale. Historically, there were four people as an authorized signing authority for the Town of Coaldale, one being the mayor, the CAO, the CFO, and a secondary, usually the other deputy CAO. Currently, we have myself, Spencer Croyle, Kaylin Hastings, and the outgoing mayor, Kim Craig. Today's meeting, we are looking to the Mayor Jack Van Ryan as authorized signing authority for the Town of Coaldale while remaining Kalen Hastings, myself, and Spencer Croyle on signing authority. With that being said, I will turn it back to you, council, for questions.
Thank you. It's fairly straightforward. Can I get someone to entertain a motion for that, please? Councillor Reese?
Council update the town's authorized authorities to pay Mr. Mayor Van Ryn.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 8.2, Emergency Advisory Committee Terms of Reference. We have Deputy Chief Clayton Rutberg here that's going to speak on that.
Thank you, Mayor Van Ryn. Just bringing forward after the previous Emergency Advisory Committee in September, the Emergency Advisory Committee wanted to pose the idea to council of the possibility to be able to extend their terms of appointment within their terms of reference. So right now, as you know, it's a one-year term of appointment for the citizen committee members, but they felt with the training and stuff like that that's included within it, as well as some of the work that they do and getting up to speed on some of that stuff, that a longer appointment might serve the committee better. So as a part of their meeting, they made some alterations to the terms of reference that are presented for you today.
Thank you. Any questions? Okay, can I get someone to entertain a motion for the change in the terms of reference, please? Councillor Chapman. The motion will be council to approve the revised terms of reference for the Emergency Advisory Committee from 1 year to 3 years, correct?
Yeah, the term was, the way they worded it in the rewritten one, Mayor Van Ryn, was a one-year appointment with the ability to extend to a 3-year if council approves that committee member in the following year's organizational meeting.
Okay. Councillor Chapman, you're okay with that? Okay.
Further question through to Mr. Ruttenberg, if I may. Are you looking at staggering some of these appointments so that there will be a reflection of continuity?
I think that would be a great idea. It is done, again, as a part of the regular organizational meeting of council. I think the biggest thing is having some of that consistency on that committee, just to have that historical piece of what's been done in the last few years. And I think fortunately, over the last few years, we have had some committee members get appointed again. We've had Lindsay Fraser and Joe on the committee here for a couple of years now, so there has been some of that consistency in the past couple of years, which is nice as well.
Okay, thank you. So there's a motion on the floor. Any more? Or, sorry, Deputy Mayor Abry.
Thank you, Mayor Van Ryn. Just, so is this for our council appointee as well, or just citizen appointee?
I believe the way they worded it was the citizen appointees, but I guess if council wished, it could be for the council appointee as well. I do feel that council's a little bit more in the loop sometimes with some of the stuff that is going on as well, so it might be less of a burden if a councilor were to change over on a shorter term. But I think with the citizen members, with their minimum training that they have to take as well, within their 90-day appointments, it's a little bit easier to extend the length of their term.
Any further questions? Okay, motion on the floor. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. And then item 8.3, Country Christmas Night of Lights. Cindy Hoffman will be presenting on that. And along with Cindy, we have Russ Tanner.
Well, good evening, Mayor Van Ryan and council.
And Cindy, if I could just interrupt, for the sake of the new council members, if I could just get both of you to introduce yourself with your titles, please.
Absolutely. So my name is Cindy Hoffman. I'm Community Services Manager for the town of Coaldale. And
Good evening. I'm Russ Tanner. I'm the Director of Recreation and Community Services for the town of Coaldale.
Thank you.
yeah. So the following report is to provide council with recommendations concerning the annual Country Christmas Night of Lights Parade. Further, to ask for approval or modification of the recommendation. The 2021 Country Christmas Night of Lights is scheduled for Friday, November 19th. The event runs from 4:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. along 20th Avenue or Main Street, with the main attraction being the Christmas Light Parade. The event typically draws up to 2,000 people along the parade route, which starts at the Coaldale Health Center and ends at John Davidson School. Since the COVID virus continues to be present in Alberta, some restrictions do continue to apply to outdoor events. The following information was considered prior to administration making their recommendation in this report. The current AHS restrictions, as per the AHS website, are as follows. Events and facilities that are fully outdoors have no capacity restrictions, but must maintain the 2-meter distancing between households or too close contacts for those living alone. I'll just quickly go through the other considerations here. So historically, the parade draws up to 2,000 people along the parade route, and with a large percentage of people gathering between 17th Street and 19th Street. This particular area can see up to 12 people deep on the sidewalk, with many people flooding into the street. Holding the parade could pose a potential risk for the transmission of the virus. Given the resources at our disposal currently, we do not foresee a service where the 2-meter distancing requirement could be successfully enforceable. Business owners may have various levels of comfort with participating. This event was canceled last year in 2020 due to COVID-19. And finally, this event also draws families with young children who are currently unable to be vaccinated against COVID. I've been in discussions with our local health inspector, and she has advised that if we are not able to somehow ensure the 2-meter distancing requirement, that the event probably could not proceed safely. So, decision options. Option number 1 is to cancel the 2021 Country Christmas Night of Lights again this year. Or option 2, move forward with the event once a plan is developed. A plan that will require physical barriers and enforcement processes specific to social distancing as suggested by our local health inspector. The other pressing issue right now is we are we're at 4 weeks, less than 4 weeks to the event. So planning of the event we'd have to make a decision very, very quickly is what I'm saying if we wanted to proceed. So our recommendation is that council cancel the Country Christmas Night of Lights and the activities for 2021.
Thank you. So being part of the Night of Lights parade in the past, it's a lot of work for community services to put this together in 4 weeks. And with the new restrictions, personally, I think there's going to be a problem trying to maintain the distances between the families and such. But I'll open up the floor to discussion if there's any questions or comments for either Cindy or Russ. Let me know. Any questions? Councillor Beekman?
Through the chair to Cindy and Russ, I'm just curious to know if there is an option that we can do like a 2-tiered parade almost. Like instead of, generally the parade takes, in my experience, about 15 to 20 minutes to run the parade through. Would it be an option to maybe run the parade through at 6 and then rerun the parade at 7? It would give, there's no real way to keep people apart, but it might encourage younger families to go to the 6 o'clock one, the older group to go at 7. I understand why we probably should be canceling the event, but I'd like to exhaust every avenue if possible, because, I mean, losing it last year, it's, you know, we've kind of been through enough this year. I was just wondering if there's, you know, an option that we could do that. I feel any of the parade participants might be for that because, you know, the double exposure, right? Rather than going through once, they get to go through twice as an option. I don't know. Let me know what you think.
I'll just share my comments real quick, and then Russ will probably have some ideas as well. The only thing I could see with that, it is so unpredictable unless, you know, you just don't know who's going to come at what time, and that's, like, you're right, maybe the younger families might come earlier, but we just have no way of predicting that, which could be just one of those things that could really catch us off guard. So Russ?
Yeah, no, you know, through the chair to Councillor Beekman, Cindy answered that very well. I think I'd just go a little bit further and say that the difference between a parade and an outdoor event like a concert or a football game and thing is the point of entry, right? There's just no control capability of who comes to the parade, who, you know, falls under like an RAP program or anything like that. And so with that dynamic really makes it incredibly difficult. I like the idea, and I agree with you to exhaust every opportunity. And Cindy and I did take an opportunity to have a long conversation and reach out to other communities as to what's going on. But with the recommendation from our current health, our local health inspector, and the expectation that would be put on us in this, there's no way that as staff we could tell Alberta Health Services that we accommodated what they're asking.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Mayor Avery had a question as well.
Thank you, Mayor Van Ryn. So can we look at going opposite where we drive by the parade? So the lights, the vehicles are all parked and we drive by them. So we have to be in a vehicle and we drive by. You can still get a, you know, piece of candy from, you know, the person standing by their vehicle, but just kind of reverse the parade. Rather than the parade driving down, we drive ourselves past. We're not going to then gather on Main Street. We can still have the businesses having sales, so they can still participate, but not the hot chocolate on the corners or the hamburgers on the corner. Just the sales inside the business, so they can regulate the customers coming in, but we can still have some type of a Christmas parade celebration.
Thank you for the question. We did explore this last year. One of the concerns from the then staff sergeant at the time was this is all in the dark. We turn off all the street lights. It's completely dark down Main Street. So there was a huge safety concern at that point. Little kids, you know, darting in and out of between the moving vehicles, that sort of thing. So we talked at length last year about that, but that safety aspect kind of trumped it at that point. So, but yeah, very, very good idea. So.
Councillor Saylor.
Is there a different location that you could do it at, like that idea? Instead of doing it down Main Street, is there a different area where you could still set up some sort of things like I've seen in Calgary where they're driving under them and all that, you know? Is there a different area where we could do it so it's not on Main Street, but then people could still drive in their cars and go through something?
I think so through the chair to both Councillor Saylor and Councillor Avery, there is a way to do it the way that you're suggesting for sure. I think it comes back to within the report suggesting that based upon the current resources that we've got and the budget that we have, we couldn't do it with that. If you were giving us an unlimited ability to have, you know, the RCMP, the local law enforcement, and to find a lit area to explore those opportunities, I'm sure we could come up with something. It would take us some time. But yeah, like it'd be difficult to know exactly what that would look like and what a budget like that would look like. I believe 2 years ago, the town of Raymond did that for their parade in the middle of the day down Main Street. And that's, I think, what Cindy's alluding to, is that this is a little bit different. And so if we're asked as staff to completely revamp the thought of it and explore that option, we could certainly do that. That's why we do what we do as community services, is to do this. We hate seeing these things canceled all the time, but what we're suggesting at this point in time is a completely different concept than what we're used to, and so it would take more resources.
Okay, thank you. And Councillor Chapman?
Thank you, Mayor, Cindy, Russ, thank you so much for all your hard work on all this research and coming council with this proposal.
Councillor Chapman, just turn your microphone on, please. And just start over the question.
Okay, thank you, Mayor Van Ryan, and through to Cindy and Russ, thank you so much for your hard work on all these matters, trying to make a difference for the town of Coaldale in terms of spirit, that this has really been a big part of. I tend to concur with Mayor Van Ryan that with short time left to put this together, to cancel for this coming year. I'm sorry, for this year. Having said that, possibly a standalone parade without all the Christmas festivities that Deputy Mayor Avery was speaking about. Would that work, do you think? To have just a standalone parade where you just run the parade through, there wouldn't be any hot chocolate and fire pits, and that's where all the big gatherings happen, right? And so would that work, do you think?
From past experience, so this will be, I guess, my 6th time putting this event on. Oh, I guess not. So it'll be the 3rd time. The chamber had it before. But in that length of time, what we find is when we first open at 4:30, we've got the fire pits going, we've got the stores and the businesses are out there, we've got hot chocolate. People start coming, but the big crowds show up about 6:45. That's when we see the majority of the people coming down, and so they the parade is the big draw for the evening, and that's where we see the majority of the people coming just prior to the parade, and then they disperse immediately after. So again, that's a little bit tricky. It's the parade that is the draw, not so much the other activities that are going on.
That answer your question? Okay, Councillor Saylor?
Too, I just thought it would be really, really hard to police the social distancing outside. You'd have to have people going down constantly trying to split the families up and that, and people are just going to get upset if you're going around telling them that they can't stand in certain areas or can't stand with different people, That'd be really, really hard to kind of police it to a regular parade.
Okay, thank you. And quick question, because of the 16th Ave extension, we're not doing nothing at that Kinsman Picnic Shelter this year either then, correct?
No, sorry. We're just about done putting up lights. We will be having an event.
Okay.
So we're hoping that is going to be completed. If not, we will have walk-in through the east gate.
So for the new members of council, can you just give us a brief of what happens at the picnic shelter then, please?
Absolutely. So this will be the 3rd year for the winter walk in the park. What we do is we just basically light up the park. So we use a lot of the large trees, so we decorate them all up, we wrap the trunks, we do the canopies, and we just kind of make it just a nice evening for families to stroll through the park. On a typical year with no COVID, we would have a bonfire, we would have hot chocolate, we have different activities, petting zoos, wagon rides, entertainers, it runs Saturdays and Wednesdays from this year from November 20th to December 29th. And it's just open to the community. There'll be a small fee attached to it to gain admittance. But it's just a nice evening to come out, enjoy the lights, and just wander through the park. It's a good location, especially during COVID, because it is fenced, so we can control the number of people at any one time in the park, so we can accommodate the AHS requirements.
And this event will be coming back before council at a future meeting then?
Everything is in place now, unless you wanted me just to update you on sort of what our activities will be.
Did I hear you say there's going to be a fee this year?
We're talking about just a nominal $2 entrance fee, just to start, getting a little bit of coverage on some of the expenses that we are incurring with the event.
Okay,
And we are looking for sponsorships as well.
So if you plan on charging a fee, I would like to see that report come back before council then, please.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any further questions? Councillor Pickering?
I'm kind of curious if they aren't going to run parade of lights. Is it not possible to use the budget from that 5,000 to take over to the other event and make it more accessible or no fee charged, or, I'm just curious about that.
Yes, and that's something that we can discuss when they come back before council with that, so.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good comment. Any other questions? Okay, so we have two options, to cancel it for 2021 or to move forward with Night of Lights Parade. So anybody want to entertain a motion, please? Councillor Chapman.
Mayor Van Ryan, I'll make the motion for option number 1 to cancel the 2021 Christmas Night of Lights.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on to, there's no departmental reports, no committee reports, no correspondence, no information items. So we're ready for a motion to adjourn. Councillor Saylor, all those in favor? Carried. Thank you very much.